The world can be a better place when there's talking going on. Welcome to Talking with Mr. Steve. Hello, and welcome to another special edition of Talking with Mr. Steve, Family Reunion Edition. Right now, I have someone very, very special with me right now. He goes way back into time, and we're going to talk to him a little bit about history and about the Hunter Ross family reunion. I have none other than Mr. Charles Hunter. Hey, Charles, how you doing today?
I'm okay so far.
So far, boy. Looks like you've been around for a long time, so you got to tell us where you were born. We're going way back now. Tell us about where you were born and where a little bit about yourself.
Okay, I'll give you a brief rundown on my stay in Camden, Arkansas, and Chittister, Arkansas.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I was born in Camden, Arkansas, 7th of May, 1926, on Pearl Street. That was about 3 years before the Big Depression, so which I had no knowledge of, being that age. But due to the Depression, we had to move out to my grandfather's farm when I was 3 years old. So we moved to a little place called Williams Center. And a little rundown on Williams Center was an all-black community with a couple of 2 or 3 white people lived out there in the choice spots in those days. And when I was about 8 years old, we were in Camden, Arkansas. My father had left a car parked on a hill. He went shopping someplace, I don't know where. And my brother I was 8 years old, my brother being 6 years old, kicked the car out of gear. And my dad just had it in gear as a brake and didn't have the wheels turned into the curb. So
Oh, no.
there's a deep drop off about a quarter of a mile down the hill, a little further, and then it turns sharp left, and it straight ahead goes into about 100-foot drop off.
Wow.
And so the car started to roll, and there was a white man in a gas station. He saw this, and he sprinted out to the car, jumped on the running board, told me, turn into the garage. The houses lived on the street. Turn. I was 8 years old then. And so I tried to turn into the garage. I didn't make it. Anyway, made it to the the steps, the walkway going to the home. Went up to the home walkway, but the car hit the brick pillow. Anyway, had a big wreck.
Oh, no. Oh.
Father come in.
Oh.
Anyway, we got back, got the car all recovered. My dad says, "Boy, I'm going to teach you to drive." So anyway, we went back to the farm, and every spare moment, my dad taught me how to drive. And then when I was 9 years old, my dad says, "You're going to drive the family to church today." As my graduation.
Wow.
Anyway, we picked up grandfather, my mother, and my brother in the back seat, and we took off for church. And halfway there, I guess my dad was a little nervous. He said, "Now remember, when you get there to the church," because my dad being an assistant minister, he had a parking right up next to the church, so everybody's going to be seeing him when you come in the park. Anyway, my dad said, "Be sure to hit the gas and the brake at the same time." I think Dad got a little nervous. He meant clutch, but I don't think he said clutch. He said gas. So anyway, we get there, and I'm trying to figure the rest of the way to church. How in the world am I going to hit the gas and the brake at the same time? Anyway, we drive up to church. I knew I had to put the clutch in. I put the clutch in, and just one moment, had an interruption. Anyway, we drive up to church. I put the clutch in, which I knew. Then I hit the brakes and stopped. Well, we had to stop before we hit the church. Then I'm trying to figure out, turn my heel over and hit the gas. And my dad shut the engine off because he's in the driver's seat. Anyway, he didn't say anything about it. Later on, he asked me, "Why did you hit the gas?"
All right. Now, can you tell me a little bit about your parents and your grandparents?
My mother was Irene L. Libertha Hunter. No, Williams' last name was Williams, Irene Williams. And my dad was named KD, which stood for King David Hunter of the Hunter Ross family.
Uh-huh.
And my dad was the oldest of his siblings of 5 boys and 4 girls. And my mother was the oldest of her siblings of 2 boys.
Uh-huh. Now, about your grandparents, tell us a little bit. Do you remember a lot about them?
Well, my grandmother, which was mostly Indian, and was named Cordelia. Let's see, I'm trying to think of her last name. Anyway, Cordelia, she married a Williams. And Chandler, my mother told me her mother's last name was Chandler. So all I know about my grandmother's side of the family, anything, was just Chandler. She
Uh-huh.
was a Cordelia Chandler. She married my grandfather, which is Ep Williams, EPP Williams.
Ah, okay. Okay.
I live in Washington State, in Lakewood, Washington.
What made you leave Arkansas and
And
go way up there?
we left. Oh no! The reason we left Arkansas, that's a different story altogether. Okay, in Williams Center, as far as the center, the one little school we had only went to the 8th grade. Everybody went to the same school from 1st grade to 8th grade. They had 3 rooms. One room for the kindergartners, then you had the grade schoolers, and then you had another room for I think the final 2 grades or something like that, 6th and 7th grade. Oh,
Uh-huh.
7th and 8th grade.
Do you like it up there in
And
Washington? I mean, in Seattle? You like it up
we,
there?
we, this was, oh, so when we left Gary, Indiana, no, we left Valley. Hold on a second.
Okay, go
We
ahead.
left Arkansas, Williams Center. We went to Gary, Indiana. My Hannah Ross, a lot of them went to Gary and Chicago. Did not go to New York. We went to Gary. My family branched out to Gary and Chicago. My uncle, who started the family reunions that we have today, he moved to Chicago. Joe Hunter, he moved to Chicago. And my other, Rodessa Stanley, and my father moved to Gary, Indiana, which is 35 miles outside of Chicago,
Uh-huh.
just out in suburb Chicago. And so my family lived, and the big industry then was Carnegie, Illinois Steel.
Ah.
And Gary, Indiana was quite a little place then, but now it's a hole in the wall.
Now tell me, do you still own property here in Arkansas? Because we're here.
And
I'm here in
I,
Arkansas right now. That's where we are, right
I,
outside of Little Rock.
I just finished up selling it. Just finished up selling because at 97, and my wife didn't want to be stuck with it, so she thought we better sell it.
Where was it?
You know, it was 8 miles south of Camden. 8 miles south of Camden.
Okay, now if you had an opportunity to say, tell anyone that might be watching why you should go to your family reunions, what would you tell them?
Oh, well, it's the tradition, because when my uncle set this up years ago in 1940, I think it was, most of the time, only time you saw your family was during the funerals, something like that, a tragedy. That's the only time we came together. The last 22 years of my work life I spent in television. 22 years in King TV as a master control operation controller.
Oh, really? Wait, stop. Let me stop you right there. Let me stop you for a second. Let me stop you. I was a master control operator. Ooh. Look at that. We got something in
Well,
common. Well, I'll be darned.
Then I was a Mexican control there. I started off as a bellhop. I first went in the first night. I was supposed to go into understudy. But the guy that I was supposed to understudy, he got smart and elegant and lost his job. They said, no, you're working. And from there, I was working. And then I went into master control. I first started bellhop. You run the film chain.
Yeah.
And back in those days, you don't have a film chain when you came in.
Oh no, there was a film chain when I was there.
Still had the film chain. Okay. And so I ran the film chain. So and then I moved up to master control, and as which you know all about.
I do. Well, Albie, we got so we got a little something. We got a little something in common there.
Yeah. So anyway, it's been 22 years, and Mrs. Bullitt, who had the first TV station in Seattle, Washington, the first woman owner, and the first TV station in Seattle, Washington, Channel 5, and I was one of the black colors. There was very little color in there then.
Yeah, I know how that is. Yeah. But Mr. Hunter, sir, I want to again thank you so much for sharing your time and your wisdom and your master control television experience with us, and I definitely appreciate that. And we'll see you soon.